What's up, everyone? Welcome to the FA podcast. Happy Football Friday. Very excited to be here once again. Not as much going on week after the draft. We got some veteran free agent signings. Transfer portal in full effect as it closed yesterday. So we have a bunch of guys in the portal and committed already. We also have fifth-year option tracker going on as that deadline just passed. And, of course, we have your UFL Week 6 game previews on tap. So, with college football news, Georgia, go Dogs. They signed their head coach Kirby Smart to a 10-year, $130 million extension. First 5 years of that are guaranteed. $1.55 million in bonuses available for Coach Smart as well. He has been the best coach in college football over the past 5 years or so, 7 years really. As the Dogs have played for 3 national championships in his time at UGA, winning back-to-back in 2021 and 2022, and making the playoff in many seasons as well. I think with Coach Saban retired now from Alabama, Coach Smart is the guy. He is the epitome of the coaching world, and Dogs on top. Many people expect, as do I, that the Dogs are going to start the year at number 1 overall in the AP rankings this fall. Transfer portal, a lot going on. Like I said, Ole Miss wide receiver Zachary Franklin is in the portal. Just 6 receptions last year. Really wasn't utilized with Coach Kiffin in Oxford there. So I think he should be able to get to an opportunity somewhere else that will use him more. Had an awesome couple of seasons at UTSA before transferring to Ole Miss, looking for another home now. Hello, James Franklin, please. Get on the phone with this man. Penn State desperately needs wide receivers after losing Keandre Lambert-Smith to the transfer portal, and it would make a ton of sense to get Franklin there in State College. Arkansas quarterback Jacoby Criswell has entered the portal once again, and he has found a new home already. He is committed to North Carolina, where he began his career in college football, transferred to Arkansas, was a part-time starter there, and now looking for a renewed term at UNC after Drake May left for the draft. BYU linebacker Chaz Ayu is in the portal. Pretty solid player there. UCLA quarterback Colin Schlee has found his new home, committed to Virginia Tech. Really hoping that he can bounce back after a so-so year with UCLA. Only started part of the season, but Schlee, a really solid player, played at Toledo, I believe. Kent State or Toledo. I always get those two mixed up. Anyways, played in the MAC, had an excellent career before going to UCLA, now into Blacksburg for Virginia Tech. Louisville running back Penny Boone also committed. He is going to UCF. UCF has been hot on the transfer trail this offseason, and they land a massive player in Penny Boone from Toledo. Went to Louisville in the fall portal, didn't work out there, and now to UCF. Rutgers quarterback Gavin Wimsatt is in the portal, that coming after head coach Greg Schiano naming Minnesota transfer quarterback Ethan Kaliak-Manis as the starter there. So Wimsatt looking for an opportunity elsewhere this fall. Wisconsin quarterback Nick Evers, he has committed to UConn. Big get for head coach Jim Mora Jr. I'm excited to see what Evers can do in that offense. They got some good players there. Coach Mora trying to rejuvenate the Huskies football program. Pittsburgh quarterback Christian Veilleux, he has committed to Georgia State. new coaching staff down there. VU looking for an opportunity with the Panthers there. UConn quarterback Taquan Roberson has entered the portal. This came after the Evers commitment to the Huskies. So Roberson, the former Penn State quarterback as well, looking for a new home. Nebraska quarterback Jeff Sims, he has committed to Arizona State. So the Jaden Rashada transfer out, Jeff Sims in, former Georgia Tech quarterback as well, signing with the Sun Devils. UCF quarterback Timmy McClain, he has committed to Arkansas State. So the Red Wolves getting a solid player that has started some games for the Knights in the past. Missouri State wide receiver Raylan Sharp, over 900 yards last year for the Bears. He has committed to Fresno State. So the Bulldogs getting a solid player from the FCS ranks. Oklahoma quarterback General Booty is in the transfer portal, as is Penn State wide receiver Malik McClain. So again, the exodus of Penn State wide receivers continues between the draft and the transfer portal. It has not been great, and it's not setting up well for Drew Aller in his second season as a starter. Struggled last year with the lack of weapons, and Penn State really hasn't done anything to improve that this offseason. So it'll be interesting to watch how much they rely on Julian Fleming. And luckily, he does have Tyler Warren coming back at the tight end position. But and the running backs, of course, Nicholas Singleton and I'm blanking on the other guy's name, Katron Allen. But the other wide receivers are pretty inconspicuous so far. So we'll have to see what they can do. Arizona State wide receiver Elijah Badger, he has visited with Arizona, Florida, and Washington as he looks for his new spot for in the fall. Utah State linebacker Sean Dolek is in the portal once again, transferred from Buffalo to Utah State in the winter, and now looking for another place to go after one semester there. And then Texas A&M wide receiver Raymond Cottrell caught a touchdown last year. He is visiting Arizona State, possibly linking up there with new quarterback Jeff Sims. UFL news. A lot of transactions went down this week in the United Football League. The Defenders, they released safety DJ Schweringer, looking for younger guys to get more opportunities for DC. The Renegades, they released safety Brandon Rusnak. The Brahmas releasing running back Bryson Aline. The Battlehawks, they placed running back Mateo Durant and linebacker Callahan O'Reilly on IR. Two big losses there on offense and defense. Panthers placing defensive tackle Daniel Wise on IR. He is also a big loss. I think he has 3 sacks this season for the Michigan defense. Going to be tough to replace him in the middle there. Stallions, safety JoJo Tillery. He is not expected to play this week, coming off a hamstring injury, so they'll have to retool the secondary this weekend. The Defenders, they re-signed safety Kentrell Bryce after the Schweringer release. The Brahmas re-signed corner Tease Tabor as well, looking to upgrade their secondary once again. The Renegades, they signed safety Joe Powell, all XFL safety, back with the Renegades, won the championship last year in the XFL with them. And the Brahmas, they signed an interesting player, Arizona quarterback Jaden DeLora, went undrafted in the 2024 NFL draft and now signs mid-season with San Antonio, looking for an opportunity. NFL news, the Steelers running back Jalen Warren says their special teams coordinator has discussed the possibility of putting quarterback Justin Fields as a kick returner with the new kickoff rules. Very intriguing. Highly doubt it happens. You cannot spare a quarterback, especially with what we've seen the last couple of seasons. The attrition at the quarterback position has been not great, and you need 2 quarterbacks in today's day and age. So highly doubt it. The Cardinals rookie wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. He has still yet to sign his licensing agreement with the NFLPA. So jersey is still not going to be available to purchase for MHJ. I have no clue why he's holding out. I don't see a reason for it, but sorry, Cardinals fans, you're not going to be able to buy his jersey from any reputable places, anyways. Currently, fifth-year options. Couple were picked up. The Browns corner Greg Newsome and Colts defensive end Kwity Paye both got their 5th years picked up by their teams. Both kind of questionable, I think. Greg Newsome, especially, he's kind of been hit or miss. I think Kwity Paye, I think, has improved every season so far. We're really looking forward to his 4th season coming up this year. Bunch of guys not getting their 5th-year options picked up and declined. Most surprisingly was Steelers running back Najee Harris. The team wants to see how he looks in this new offense with offense coordinator Arthur Smith now in town. Obviously, they have Jalen Warren as the backup there and 1B essentially. So if Najee struggles, Warren is going to be the guy in Pittsburgh going forward. I would have to think. And they didn't draft a running back this year, so there's really not a lot of new competition there in Pittsburgh. Others not getting their 5th-year options picked up. Broncos quarterback Zach Wilson, Cowboys quarterback Trey Lance, Jaguars quarterback Mac Jones, Giants linebacker Zaven Collins. All 4 of those guys traded before their rookie contracts are up. Commanders linebacker Jamin Davis, Chiefs wide receiver Kadarius Toney, Titans corner Caleb Farley, Saints edge rusher Peyton Turner, Packers corner Eric Stokes, and Bucks edge rusher Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. So most of those not really surprising. Mentioned Najee Harris. I would probably say the next most surprising one is Jamin Davis with the Commanders. I feel like they've liked him. He's dealt with some injuries, though. And also, I think Joe Tryon-Shoyinka as well is kind of surprising to me. I've been hyping him up most of the offseason. A couple releases after the draft happened. The Jags, they released wide receiver Zay Jones and kicker Joey Sly. Luckily for Joey Sly, though, landed right on his feet. Patriots picking him up very quickly there to have their kicker battle in New England. And the Bears, after drafting punter Torrey Taylor in the 4th round, they waived 2022 7th round punter Trenton Gill. So again, I didn't like the pick at the time. Bears, luckily enough, though, traded it back into the 5th round and got an edge rusher. So I'm okay with it now, more now than I was when the pick was actually made. Signings, a lot of veterans getting signed after the draft here. The Chargers, they signed Panthers wide receiver DJ Chark to a 1-year, $5 million deal. Really like that upgrade there with Justin Herbert getting some veteran presence there in that receiver room. The Dolphins, they signed Ravens wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. to a 1-year, $3 million deal. $8.25 million max value there. Lots of incentives for OBJ. I would assume be the slowest wide receiver in the entire position group in Miami, considering his age, and he's definitely not as fast as Tyreek. But yeah, he took a lot less money elsewhere to go to Miami. He likes that fit, and Jalen Ramsey apparently likes it too, posting about how they. The last time those two were on the same team when they won a Super Bowl with the LA Rams. So we'll see. The Cowboys, they signed Patriots running back Ezekiel Elliott to a 1-year, $3 million max value deal. He's going to wear number 15, which he wore at Ohio State. Trey Lance, being a good sport, switching to number 19, so Zeke can have 15. Cool, Cowboys. It's not going to change the fact that your running back room is horrendous. There's no viable starter on that roster, and Dak's going to struggle without with just Zeke, a much older Ezekiel Elliott that's not as explosive anymore. Backups in Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn, and others. So go ahead, Dallas. That's fine. The Rams, they signed Eagles running back Boston Scott to a 1-year deal. So adding to their backfield that already includes Kyron Williams, rookie Blake Corum, and others. So we'll see what Boston can do in LA. The Bills signing a plethora of veterans: Panthers linebacker Deion Jones, Dolphins wide receiver Chase Claypool, and Jaguars defensive end Dwayne Smoot. All three positions, I really like these additions for Buffalo. I thought they needed to get more players at those spots, and they did with all three of these guys here. The Patriots, they signed Giants linebacker O'Shane Ximines, so another off-ball backer there for New England. And then the Giants, they signed Packers defensive back David Long Jr., trying to add some competition in the back end. UFL pick standings, yeah, how the mighty have fallen. I am finally at the bottom now. A 2-2 record for me last week, 0-1 on the Lone Wolves with my DC Defenders. But Alec, 1-1 in his Lone Wolves. He lost his Arlington Renegades once again, but he did get Jimmy and I on the Panthers beating the Showboats last weekend. So Jimmy, though, losing just one game, and that was the Showboats game. Otherwise, he went undefeated in the other three, and is now 2 games ahead of Alec and myself. See what week 6 has in tow. So the Stallions at the Showboats, massive spreads here on tomorrow on these 2 games. The Stallions 13.5-point favorites in Memphis. And my Showboats, I can't fault. You can't fault me for picking against you. I mean, it's going to be tough sledding. Adrian Martinez getting back-to-back starts for the first time this year. As I said, he should be the quarterback going forward the rest of the season and into the playoffs for Birmingham, as they're probably close to locking up a playoff spot here within the next 2 weeks or so. But yeah, I mean, Memphis, luckily Case Cookis is back at quarterback. I thought Troy Williams did play really well last week after a rocky start, but the offensive line is still having issues for Memphis. They're going to struggle against one of the best defensive players in the league this year, and Carlos Davis up front, up for Defensive Player of the Year, which I said on Twitter he should win based off his 6 sacks and constant interior pressure plus run stuffing ability. But I don't know if Birmingham will cover this spread here, but I do think they'll most definitely win this game. The total is 43. I like the over. Now, Birmingham's defense does not allow many points per game. They are tops in the league, 13.2 points per game. Memphis, however, has given up a bunch of points the last 3 weeks, over 30 in 3 straight games, 33, 32, and 35. They now are last in the league in points allowed per game, 26.4. Birmingham has not given up more than 18 points a game. So I think it might be close. But I think Birmingham can put up 30 plus. And then you just need a little bit of help from Memphis, which I think with Case Cookis back at QB this weekend, we could get that. And let's go hit that over. 12 p.m. on ABC tomorrow. The Roughnecks at the Battlehawks. We are all in sync once again. as the second highest spread of the weekend, 11.5 for St. Louis in the Dome. I just don't think anyone is going to be able to beat them in St. Louis. Very tough atmosphere to go into, especially not the Houston Roughnecks. Houston here, Reed Sinnett, like I said, I really liked his play. He's done pretty well for this Houston squad, despite the 1-4 record. Now, Houston does get a boost this week. Jarek Arantano is back as the backup quarterback. However, if they're going to have a chance, they need to run the ball, man. Mark Thompson has to get a lot more touches. The receivers, I mean, Justin Hall had a ridiculous 14 targets last weekend, so he's been good. But there is a lot of question marks on this team. You have a guy that was draft eligible that is getting his first start this weekend, Jamari Brown at free safety. So I'm really intrigued to see him play and show NFL teams what they missed by not drafting him. But yeah, it'll be an uphill battle. The St. Louis defense was outstanding last weekend. They are now fourth in points allowed per game, 19, and they lead the league in yards allowed, 223.4. The sacks haven't really been there, but the turnovers were last weekend as they got 4 off of the defenders in DC. Total here is 48.5. That's crazy. I lean on the under, but I wouldn't put it past this St. Louis offense to take off once again and score a ton of points. 3 p.m. on Fox. Sunday, Cinco de Mayo is where it gets interesting. The Renegades at the Panthers, and yes, sir, I am a lone wolf. The Michigan. I was shocked when I saw this that Jimmy and Alec both picked Alex Roughnecks at 0-5. I couldn't do that. Alec's been saying every week that this is the week that it hits. I don't believe it. Michigan's defense is too good. I don't think Luis Perez and this offense is going to be able to score enough. They're third in points per game with 18.6 allowed. They're third in sacks with 13, and they're tied for third with 7 turnovers on the year. I just think this Michigan defense is going to be really riled up to play at home in Detroit after their win last week in Memphis. But Danny Etling played pretty well in his first start. So I think that they get that ground game going with Wes Hills once again, and they get this thing done at home. Some people like the spread. I don't know. 4 is an iffy one for me, so I'm staying away from betting this one. Total is 42, and I am leaning the under because of the inability to score on the Arlington side. 1 p.m. on Fox. In the last game of the weekend, the San Antonio Brahmas at the DC Defenders. I was shocked with this game as well. We are all on DC. I thought maybe one of the other guys would go San Antonio, considering 1, that they're 4-1, and for 2, that DC looked horrendous last weekend against St. Louis. I just think that DC is going to bounce back-to-back weeks at home. They're not going to lose 2 in a row at Audi Field. The defense has to be better, but so does the offense. The offense had 4 turnovers last week. Cannot do that. San Antonio is going to be a tough out, I will say that, as they're second in points per game, 17.2, second in sacks with 17, and tied for third with 7 turnovers on the year. They have a blocked field goal, or a blocked punt as well. So I would not be shocked to see San Antonio win. The DC defense has really kind of fallen off, but it's kind of skewed because of their 45 points they let up last weekend against St. Louis, which was by far the highest of the season. Greg Williams has to get this thing taken care of, and I think they can find ways to get pressure on Quentin Dormady, put him off his spot, and get some turnovers of their own to set up short fields for Jordan Ta'amu and get the running game going. Cameron Harris. Zaquandre White, I think, should start. He has looked really solid. I think he should get a good opportunity to be the RB1 this weekend in DC. Total here is 42.5. I lean the over, but not playing anything here. Defenders money line is a possibility, but we'll see. 4 p.m. on Fox. And that is the show for today, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Next Friday, we'll be back talking UFL Week 7. We'll have all your NFL and college football UFL news, as well as your Week 7 UFL game previews, as well as anything else that goes down. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and X. FAA_bets as well. FAApodcast.com is our website, which make sure you go look at my new article on there, my Rookie Dynasty Draft Big Board, breaking down all 78 skill position drafted rookies and what I think their opportunities are to put up fantasy points starting this season, and what possibly the outlook is for the lower ranked guys in the future for your upcoming Dynasty League drafts. Also, make sure to check us out here on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TikTok as well. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all back on Monday.